welcome to the Gentleman's Club. You know, women do have the power, it seems like, in the dating game, and that's why I've got our female panel here to help guys with their issues. And I'd like to introduce the panel. We have Pam, female comedian.
G'day.
Dr. Jemima Petch, who's a psychologist with Vision Psychology and also the Director of Relationships Australia, Director of Research. And we have Abby, who needs no introduction. Friend of mine, and basically, yeah, so you're looking forward, you're excited about helping these guys, you know, they need you, and, you know, it's pretty important, you know, what you're doing.
That's what we're here for.
Exactly. So, okay, let's just get straight to the first letter. And this is, okay, dear panel, I've been with my girlfriend for a few months now, and she's a naturally friendly and flirty person, but guys always take it the wrong way. There's one guy who she's friends with, but he's always texting her, and sometimes sometimes does it late at night, telling her to come out clubbing. I know she wouldn't do anything, but I just want to get rid of this guy. I don't care if I look jealous. Won't I look weak if I don't say anything? And that's from Alan at Bowen Hills. So what do you think?
Well, why is Alan so preoccupied with appearing weak, first of all?
Well, I guess he feels like, you know, if a guy's hitting on his girlfriend, he should say something or, you know, stand up to him or something.
He needs to communicate his feelings to his girlfriend. Just tell her that
Say
he's
what?
concerned. I don't know, just be honest. Just say, he's this guy.
Honesty, that's interesting.
I just think
Have you tried honesty before?
I don't think it works.
Doesn't work for you, does it?
Well, you know, he doesn't want to, but what if he seems jealous, like if he says to her, what about this guy? Like, he's probably said that before.
Yeah, but a little bit of jealousy is natural in a relationship. It's healthy to be jealous. Yeah, it is.
I disagree.
Oh.
I don't
disagree?
know. I do, but Jemima is the relationship expert, so...
Don't put too much pressure on Jemima, but that's...
Well, is jealousy a normal thing in a relationship? I think if there's a lack of security, then maybe.
I think it can be normal. Depends on what we say is normal. The bit that I take from the letter is that I think it's quite normal also to feel angry when his relationship with his girlfriend is like it's threatened in a sense.
Yeah.
He's seeing this other person as a competitor.
Yeah.
So trying to address that honestly would be my advice as well, but in an assertive way with his girlfriend rather than with the guy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like caveman behaviour to go up to the guy and go, you know.
Yeah.
It is pretty caveman.
But that's what but I think you should, you know, you don't want to come across as jealous. Like, I can understand he's concerned that he doesn't want to address it with her and make her think that he's worried about it, and jealousy, that'll be unattractive to her, wouldn't it? If he's, that's in my opinion anyway, like I think he'd seem unattractive if he even worries about it.
I'd find that quite attractive though. I'd quite like it.
I'm not
Would you?
surprised.
You mean the caveman thing?
She likes
or
the caveman.
I think, yeah, it's quite nice
Really?
to...
You were just fantasising about that. What about in reality? Like in reality?
Dirty and naughty.
In reality, it's like a turn-off, isn't it?
I think a woman would more likely find it a turn-off if the guy went out and punched the competitor down.
That's true. Yeah, that's
but
true.
if Alan went up to his girlfriend and said, I do feel really concerned and worried about this, because to me, like if I'm thinking in the psychologist role, what's going on for the couple is that he has different expectations of exclusivity and boundaries in the relationship.
Yeah.
What that means is she thinks it's okay to have texts from this guy and go clubbing, but he doesn't. So this difference in expectations and what is the boundary of exclusivity in our relationship, that's the topic they need to talk about. And he's kind of saying, I feel worried that this is going to go too far with you and your friend. And no matter how much reassurance she gives him, he's still going to have that worry.
Yeah.
So I'm sure if the shoe was on the other foot, she wouldn't like it.
So assuming that
she would definitely
assuming that it's
a different
not
scenario altogether if the shoe is on the other foot. But do you think that means that there's a lack of simpatico between Alan and his partner? I mean, it seems like he fundamentally doesn't understand her as a person. Like, she's sort of naturally flirtatious. He said that he knows that nothing would happen. So, you know, why is this
That's
an issue?
one thing I don't buy that whole thing. She's naturally flirty. I think the fact is that she has got the power in this relationship, and she
it always comes back to the woman having the power.
I'm sorry, but I don't want this guy to get hurt. You know, he's basically, she's just flirting. She knows what she's doing. I don't think.
She can get away with it. She's going to carry on doing it.
Like, she's texting
Unless
him
he
late
puts
at
it
night.
like
She
that.
knows what he wants. She's not innocent. Like, I'm sorry, Alan, but she's not as innocent as he thinks.
You think
I
it's
believe.
insidious? You think that she likes the attention and that she sort of
Absolutely.
likes it?
Absolutely.
She's stringing this guy along, and that she is unavailable to him, and it's exciting for her.
I think that's the thing. Like, yeah, it's.
I think women have been known to do something like that, but I don't know that. I don't know Alan's girlfriend. I'm not going to judge.
Well, he's
Postulating.
she's innocent and she's naturally flirty. I think it's like I think that's a pretty sort of weak sort of explanation for, and it's probably justification from her saying, "Oh, this is just what I'm like." I don't buy that.
Yeah. Well, Abby has a point. If it was the other way around, if it was Alan that was receiving the text,
I think he should start doing it and just, see
see
how
she likes
He
it.
should start doing it.
Yeah,
too.
this is healthy. What do you think about
Oh,
this?
I don't.
Jemima?
Yeah,
Eye for an
Is
eye.
that what you would recommend?
exactly. Is that what you would recommend?
I think no, I wouldn't, because couples then get locked into a power struggle. Who can win that struggle? Who can go further and
Hopefully
then
the
finally
guy.
have
That's
the
what
other
we want. We
person?
want the
It's
guy to win,
always the
right?
woman.
Yeah.
We're trying to help the guy win, right?
We are win-win. Win-win would be the ideal.
Win-win. Okay. No, fair enough. I'll compromise.
And it
That
probably
means
is
both
true that
people lose.
I think your point about her liking the relationship, there's a friendship part of that probably, but she might also like being attractive.
Absolutely.
Who doesn't like
Absolutely.
being admired? But again, it comes down to, well, what's acceptable? You know, if she wants the relationship to last with Alan, she's also going to need to listen to him and respect his concerns and maybe back that off a bit. If she doesn't, then Alan, I guess, would need to concentrate on or weigh up.
Yeah. Well, he's
Yeah.
already at his
Do
breaking
you-
point.
do
He's
you
writing
think-
into James.
Do you think that if he does raise his concerns, that's going to stop her? Is that the best way to sort of stop it?
Couples are very different with that. And it comes back to some of that respect stuff. You know, how much of a issue do I need to make out of this for you to realise that it is an issue and that I want it to change? This is for every couple to figure out. Like with Alan, there's not a black and white answer.
I think he needs to obviously play the game. We just have to wrap up. But I think I don't think he needs to do eye for an eye because that's going to be too obvious. But I think he needs to be more of a challenge to her and be more attractive to her by flirting with women, but not in an obvious way.
See, that's
Maybe.
James's reasoning.
That's what I think. But I'd love to give him more advice. We'll have to go to a break, and we'll come back with Pam. She reaches out for help after this break.
Can I come in?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, can you hang on a sec, buddy? What's happening?
Well, I just found out that my secretary is getting more pay than me.
That's ridiculous. Are you sure?
Yeah.
What's her name? I'll look it up for you.
His name is Brian.
You have a male secretary?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And welcome back to the Gentleman's Club. Coming up later, we're going to look at a possible sexual dysfunction. And before we move on to Pam, her dilemma at the moment, we'll just wrap up that last segment. I was basically saying that, which Pam, I don't know why she's going against me here, but I think this guy should really, he needs to be more of a challenge. To this, he needs to not just be. Sounds like he's sitting at home while she's going out, you know, and that's not on. I think he needs to get the power back by being more of a challenge, flirting with girls, but also like women do, in an innocent way where he's not obviously hitting on girls. Okay, so Pam, what's your thing?
Yeah, James, I completely disagree with you as usual.
For any reason, or just on principle?
Mostly because I don't like your face. Playing games, fixing a problem by creating another problem. I just don't see it as
So
what's your
solution?
I would say James tells her honestly how he feels, and if she cares about him, she'll change her behavior.
All right. Okay. Abby?
See, I'm a fan of
Games.
spicing up a little bit.
Yes.
I just think
That's
that,
That's why she's here. To agree with you.
Always, not always.
That's not.
I think that there's no harm in a bit of innocent flirting, like you said, a bit of subtle flirting. I'd make her a bit jealous.
Yeah.
Put the shoe on the other foot, see how she copes with that, and yeah, go from there.
And Dr. Jemima for the last word.
Well, I'd have to agree more with Pam.
Yeah, I was expecting that.
Honest,
Thank you, Doctor.
Too honest, fair enough.
But not letting that slide either. So that
Yeah.
being a challenge might, in my way, would be interpreting it as standing up for his right to be respected and listened to.
Yeah, okay, great. Well, Pam, basically what you've brought here, you've got a guy who you met at Woolworths. You were shopping and this guy you met in the line, and you didn't realise it obviously made an impact on him because he wrote you a letter and dropped it off at your work.
That is correct.
Which is obviously nearby. He saw you walking there, or?
I assume, yeah, one can only guess.
Okay, well, I'm just going to read out some of it. Dear Pam, allow me to introduce myself. We met briefly at the Woolworths checkout last Friday when you were buying ingredients for blah, blah, blah. I am afraid that I need your assistance in a matter of some importance. You see, shortly after I met you, I managed to lose my heart. I think that you may have inadvertently taken it with you. And it says some other stuff. And then it goes, should you decline, basically he asks you out for coffee to discuss this further. And should you decline my invitation, which you've obviously memorised this.
I read it every night before I go to bed.
I fear that my heart may not be lost but broken as well. It's very interesting. It's a very old-fashioned sort of thing. A letter, way to pick up a girl.
Beautiful penmanship. If we could.
He's a bit older. We'll say that.
He's he is a dapper senior citizen.
And yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that. But basically, you responded after a while, sort of saying you basically had to sort of let him down gently.
That's right. He gave me several avenues to respond.
Yeah,
and,
he left all these details there.
Yes, he did. And I decided email was the best course because him being an older gentleman, perchance he wouldn't know how to work the Google machine. But he replied in turn and promptly. Yeah. And I think you've got the email.
And his response was, it did not deter him. The way you said that you sort of tried to let him down gently. You didn't say that you were taken. You said you are single, but you don't feel like you'd have enough in common or something.
That's correct.
That was you. Okay, so that was basically, that's important, the way that you let him down. And then he did this big email saying, I must confess I despaired of ever hearing from you, so your reply gave me a smile. Your letter gave me some pleasure. It's just sickening. Sorry, but yeah. I felt strongly that I had to get to know you. What mere mortal man could do otherwise when he encounters a goddess such as you.
Wow.
It's really full on. Like, I'm just reading the highlights. There's a few little things. And he said that he's not a take charge sort of person, but it's you that made him do this.
Yeah,
and
that was my favourite part. It is you who's made me bold.
And at the end, though, basically what's important is that he's compromising now. He's stepping back and he's saying, let's set aside the question of romance and instead meet as friends. So now he's saying he just wants to be friends. Basically, the thing is, I mean, I think you should have said you were seeing someone or something, to give him no chance.
I don't believe in being dishonest, so...
Fair enough. But you've given him hope, you're making him more desperate.
No, I was upfront. I said, I am unattached, but I don't see us making a connection. I did not anticipate
Yeah, but now he's
him.
trying to justify it and say, no, yes we would. Yes, we would. Let's just be friends.
Exactly, yeah.
And now let's just be pen pals. And then it's going to just go more and more. I guess hopefully you'll get rid of it.
Yeah, let's be pen pals. That's the next. Yeah. Let's strike up a written correspondence.
Would you like to the other ladies here? Like, is that a turn off? Do you think it's too full on? Like that's a turn off? Like, would that work on you? Is that a good way to meet a guy?
It's very intense, isn't it? I mean, I have to say, it is very well written.
Oh yeah.
He says some wonderful things to you. I mean, you're a goddess. You are a goddess.
In his eyes, yeah.
No, you are. But that wouldn't work for me.
You're going to write me a letter now?
I think I am, if it works. No, it's very flattering, but it's just
If you're
too...
really attracted to the guy physically?
Yes, if I was attracted physically, I think I'd be more inclined to...
But you just use him once and then just get rid of him, wouldn't you?
No.
Well, see, that's
You don't
the
think
issue.
so? Because he's too soppy, he's too like... And look, I'm not saying I haven't done this before. That's why I want to say, like, it's really like he's showing way too much interest, well ahead of where you are. I think you should show a little bit of interest.
Oh,
I think
him.
he's trying another
him.
tactic. I think he's just
He's
thinking,
he's
you know
just
what, I'm
putting
going to
his
put
cards
my
on
cards
the
on the
tactics,
table.
but when you tell a girl how you feel, when you don't even know her, and you're acting like you're in love with her when you just met her for 2 minutes, I think that's way too much. It's such a
Who did you
Like
do
the
that
movies.
to?
It is like the movies.
Sorry?
He's trying to recreate a movie, Phoebe.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, and that's not reality. That doesn't work.
I think.
We want to
maybe-
escape from reality, don't we?
Well, apparently not. You said it wouldn't work.
No,
Well,
we don't.
no, this was the other issue that came up. Like if he,
Yeah.
you know, if he came in sort of like a George Clooney type package, as opposed to, you know,
Still,
sort of
his
like,
game is so poor. I still don't think it would work because
Burning Man Santa
I don't
Claus.
care how good looking a guy is. Like, if you're too desperate, girls don't like it. It's a turn off. Dr. Jemima, please.
Jemima, yeah.
I'm going to go back to one of the earlier comments was, only saying...
Actually,
sort of
sorry,
a-
can we just save this for after the break again?
Yep.
We're running, but these topics are so good. We'll come back and wrap up this topic, and then we'll get on to the sexual dysfunction thing as well, which hopefully won't take too long. But yeah, we're back soon on the Gentlemen's Club.
Yep. Go for it.
And welcome back to the Gentlemen's Club. And before the break, we were just talking about, before we move on, with that letter that this guy wrote you, Pam, I was just saying before, you know, it's really full on. Like, I know it's something from the movies and it's honest and all that, but it's just really, you know, full on and would be a turn off to girls, I think. Dr. Jemima, what's your opinion on that whole?
The research would usually say the same sort of thing, that relationships and friendships are best built on a reciprocity basis. So
Yeah.
if he shows some interest, he waits for her to show some interest, and then he ups
Yeah.
his interest and she ups her interest. If she's showing no interest at all and he's sort of at 100%, then that does make most women feel awkward.
So you should have said just a little bit, showed a little bit of it, like said something like nice meeting, or I don't know, but not gone off in this whole fantasy land of our lives together and that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
he definitely drew a lot of his own conclusions about how we had a lot in common, etc. I think in the end, it sort of showed how
Desperate.
desperate he was for a relationship, that he was
Just-
inventing.
Yeah, exactly.
It was clear that he was inventing a relationship that wasn't there, or a connection that wasn't there.
He thinks that you're a nice person. He doesn't know.
That guy's off his rocker.
He's assuming that you're beautiful inside and out.
Yeah, well, he was a senior citizen with like poor visual
But-
acuity. So
No, but I mean, obviously that is true, Pam, but he shouldn't assume that. Just based off, like, he's telling you that he's fully committed to you, basically, and he doesn't even know that, you know, he
Yeah, he doesn't
he's
have a
got
clue about
no
me,
self-respect, not enough self-respect to be a bit more cautious and
that's
test
loneliness.
out women a bit more to make sure they're the right one for him.
well, that's loneliness. I think he was
Yeah.
just a lonely guy, desperate
Yeah.
man, and
Anyone
exacting
have
desperate
any
means.
thoughts? Sorry, Abby, before we move on. What?
I
rich.
think you took the words right out of my mouth. If he was wealthy, I know, not saying that I would personally, no, not personally me, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just think that
No,
for
of
some
course not.
circumstances, if he was a rich, powerful bloke, there might be some women that would perhaps consider him.
So he should have mentioned, if he does have money,
I-
put that in
yeah.
your letter.
If he
next
had
time.
put like a 50 note in there, this could be ended a completely different way.
Or written it on
Well,
really
that's probably
expensive
not
paper
enough.
Yeah,
instead of
Is that
craft.
what you consider wealthy? A guy who can,
50 bucks.
you're really setting the bar high there. No, it's- good on you, good on you. Okay, we'll move on to the last letter, which is from a guy who wants to know if there's something wrong with him, basically. Dear panel, a couple of weekends ago I picked up a girl in a club and ended up going back to my place. I'm not sure what happened exactly, but I ended up reaching climax without being fully hard. Is this normal? And that's from Jeff and Tuong, if that's his real name. Hopefully not. Have you? Yeah. Is that? Well, I guess we'll go to the expert first, if that's okay. But Jemima, have you heard of this sort of thing?
You know about this kind of thing?
I do, yeah. Yep.
Personally?
So I think it's Jeff, is it?
Well, is
Or
that
Jeff.
important?
Or
Yes.
sorry, I was just
It's not-
Nervous
yeah.
laugh.
having a flaccid penis and still being able to orgasm does happen. It's one of the clusters of sexual dysfunctions.
So he
And
has a
there's-
dysfunction.
So I'm just going to explain a little bit about
Okay.
that first, and then
Yeah.
talk about Jeff's particular scenario second.
Is
Okay.
it really dysfunction if he climaxes? I mean,
Yes, yep. So not being
I
able to
think
be
so.
fully hard when you orgasm is one of the sexual dysfunctions, and premature ejaculation is the one that we're most familiar with. But it can
Yeah,
also
okay.
be arousal disorders, or
Okay.
not being able to orgasm at all. So it's
He
a
certainly
cluster.
doesn't have that problem.
No, he doesn't have that problem. Lucky.
Maybe his
So
girlfriend
in
does.
Jeff's situation, though, he's probably okay because he seems like, in the context that he's in, he's just had a big night drinking, and what we know about
Yeah.
alcohol use and drug use is that it does increase the rate of sexual dysfunction. So he's probably just been a bit too drunk, and
Yeah.
his body's had trouble.
It probably hasn't. I
keeping-
mean, by the way,
But not
saying
too
it,
much
it hasn't
trouble.
happened to him, but
Not
it doesn't
too
sound
much
like it's a
trouble.
constant thing for him.
And that's probably what we'd be saying to this guy is, if it is happening regularly,
Yeah.
or if it's happening outside of being drunk or on drugs, then yeah, you should probably check it up with your GP.
Has it got anything to do with the quality of women that is?
If he's not really into it, you mean?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
because that's happened. It's happened to me
Happened to
actually.
you, yeah.
that's happened to you.
When I wasn't, yeah, she had to like. Long story short, I wasn't into her, and I was young and naive, and I didn't know how to say no, and she blindfolded me. So I'm thinking of someone else,
Oh
and
my God.
and she's doing stuff to me to get me into it, and that's fine. And then she wanted me to do stuff to her, and that turned me off again. So then she's like, "Oh, my hard work's done." Tried to get me aroused again, and then was about to like,
That was about
Lots of
anyway,
detail.
and then
Use-
it
use a
happened.
noun.
I climaxed, and it was like, and it was just weird. It was like, what the hell? Like, I wasn't even fully into it.
like
It was a nervous one. It was like, quick, I've got to get it over
Yeah,
and done
yeah.
with.
So
And
it-
she was like, oh, like an ice cream had just been whacked out of her hand or something. Like, really disappointed. I felt sorry for her because, and then she was all proud.
what?
Like, oh, I knew that. I thought that might happen. Like she's that good. I mean, I was blindfolded. You had to. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'm missing the point here, but
I
yeah, it
don't
has
even know
happened
if
to me.
there is a
Yeah.
point.
It's kind of talking about how
important
normal
issue.
is this. All of these things are normal in small instances,
Yeah,
occasional
fair enough.
instances, and not being attracted to somebody certainly wouldn't
Wouldn't
help.
help.
Yeah.
And that, in a one night stand, that can. I mean, if this guy's.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And he's drunk. He's probably has lowered his standards.
yeah.
Maybe.
That's like the perfect storm. He was drunk. He wasn't attracted to her. He was
Yeah.
you.
No. That was a long time ago. This letter seems recent to me. But yeah, this obviously hasn't happened to Abby or Pam. Has this ever?
No, I didn't even think that.
Don't
I
have
did
to-
not
don't-
even know
Yeah,
it
you
was
didn't
a
know.
thing.
You didn't know it was possible.
No.
I did not know. I did not know.
It
that
doesn't
was a-
sound possible, does it? It
don't-
does seem
yeah,
to go
the-
against the whole laws of.
Nature.
The mechanics are mind-boggling.
Try not to think about it too much. I don't want to. Yeah, I mean this. It's not your guy. Your knight in shining armor certainly would never happen to him. I'm sure.
I don't know. We did establish that he was a senior citizen, so
Yeah, well, that's a bit rich. He doesn't, anyway, we've just gone, we shouldn't have really lowered that guy's self-esteem more than we needed to.
don't make me feel bad.
But, well, thanks very much for coming in. Dr. Jemima, Pam, Abby, I think we really gave some help. Well, yeah, I mean, hopefully, if that is still happening to that guy, basically he should see someone, a GP, and
Yeah, so if it's happening outside of being drunk or on drugs, and it's happening regularly, or he's having some of those other symptoms like premature ejaculation, lack of arousal, lack of orgasm, then it's probably something to check up because there might be other reasons why that's happening.
Yeah, so hopefully that's been helpful to all the guys out there. And thanks for watching. If you'd like to go to our Facebook site, it's Gentlemen's Club TV at Facebook. And the email, if you've got your own issues, then email us at tvgentlemensclub@gmail.com. And thanks for watching.
You're always